Hello guys, how is everyone doing? So in today's video we will be looking at earth tanking. So now just to start off with earth, let me go through the power itself. So now if you go to earth and go to level 10, let's have a read. So every time any support role you go to level 10 and it will actually say either healer role, tank role, controller role, and it will explain whatever power you are. It will actually tell you what you get when you switch to that particular role. So now as a earth tank role, we gain defense equal to 65% of our dominance while not blocking. Okay, 3% perception, that's fine. And any superpowers you use or any in tank role, we gain an automatic taunt. Taunt, when you use a superpower, your opponents attack you instead of your allies. Okay, then player versus player, we get that 20% health and 3% perception. That's fine. Okay, so now let's head over to the actual loadouts. Before we go to the loadouts, let's very quickly briefly look at the earth combos. So there we go. So we have 4 earth combos. So first one is a gemstone shield, and then we have upheaval, which is used for DPS. So is earthquake, which is a supercharge, and then jackhammer, which is another power for melee of DPS where people use jackhammer. So all of these are aftershock abilities. Okay, even the supercharge, you have to hit tap melee 3 times to apply the damage 3 more times, but you need like a full supercharge for that to work. So tap the melee button after any aftershock's ability to gain a bonus effect. Some abilities allow for multiple taps to be used. This bonus effect will be increased with each use. So that's aftershock right there. Just like with atomic combos, Earth also uses combos for tanking as well. Okay, so with Earth, there's 2 ways to tank. You can either go brick tanking or you can go aftershock tanking. Okay, so I will explain both of them right now. So first of all, let's have a look at brick tanking. So a particular brick tanking loadout will consist of the following. You will have a brick, of course. Then you will have fortified golem, which gives power and heals over time to your brick for 6 seconds. And if we look at what the brick does, summon a brick to defend you. While in combat with your brick golem alive, your passive power regeneration is reduced, so we get less power regeneration in combat and out of combat. Hold the summon brick golem button for 3 seconds to banish it. So in tank role, Brick Golem uses superpowers to restore and defend himself. You gain Earthen Bond, which is one of the Earth mechanics for Brick only, transferring a portion of your incoming damage to Brick while not blocking. Please remember there's a keyword, not blocking, and it does not stack with Stone Skin. Okay, Stone Skin is a second Earth mechanic, which is to do with aftershocking. So, a typical loadout will consist of a pull, and then we would have a gemstone shield. So let me go to my iconics and get my hardlight shield, which will also be used in the loadout. There you go, hardlight shield. Now for this other power, it's optional. You can either you have totem in there if you're fighting a boss only, okay, but if you're fighting adds and bosses, then I would recommend having either jackhammer for 2 reasons only. For the first reason, if a brick dies, you can go to the jackhammer, which activates the stone skin, increases your defense by 55%. So if a brick dies, then you have this as a safety measure, okay? And secondly, this is an excellent crowd control for ads, okay? So if you read what it says, pummel the ground below, generating destructive vibrations that damage and knock down nearby enemies. So with the ads knocked down around you, every time you hit this, you can only hit it once and the enemies will get knocked down. It gives you the crowd control effect. Okay, so you can either use this, or you can use totem, or you can simply use some kind of supercharge. So a supercharge that I would use because I'm acrobatics would be it would be Perfect Poise, which is if you read actually what it does. So damages and knocks down nearby enemies. So that's another crowd control supercharge right there, while providing a escape and protection and from crowd control and damage for a short time. So it does a lot of things, okay, and you can use this as a third shield, okay, as long as you have the 2500 supercharge for it. So those are the three moves that you can switch out for depending on what you're doing and what raid it is. So as a tank, you must know your raids, okay? So if you know that the boss that you're going to be fighting, there's no ads, you can simply put in the totem, okay, and keep that in there because that will help. It will give that extra heals to the brick. So what the totem does, conjuring a undulating earth totem that damages and knockdowns down nearby enemies once it's if any new enemies come towards it, and it heals any golems. So the first golem is a brick, and then the second golem is crystal. Okay, so there you have it. This is a typical brick loader. Okay, so now in regards to artifacts. So the artifacts that I would use for with the brick loadout would be manacles, of course, because the dominance stat is there. Then I would use Mystic Symbol of 7. Now for the third choice, you can either go the Refractor, or you can go with the Everyman prototype. Where has that gone? It's here somewhere. Um, just bear with me a second. I'm sure I did have it here, or I might have deleted it on accident. There we go. So you can either use the Everyman prototype, okay? But if you're using a supercharge like I showed you, like Perfect Poise, you can put in either Gemini, okay? So there's three different artifacts you can use depending on what you use. If you use Totem, then I would stay with the Everyman prototype. But if you're using a supercharge, I'll use Gemini. But if you're just or you can use the Refractor for the extra health. Okay, so now in terms of the loadout, this is what you would do: summon a brick, summon the totem if you are using it, and then pull your enemies or aggro the boss or adds, and then hit your shield. Now to aftershock your gemstone shield, you have to read what it says. So if you just hit it once, you will see, if you look around me carefully, you only see that one rock spinning around me. But if you hit it once and tap melee 3 times straight away, you will notice a big difference. So here's the animation for when I aftershocked my gemstone shield. As you can see, now I have 4 rocks spinning around me. If you see the 4 rocks, it means your gemstone shield has been aftershocked successfully. But please do be careful, because sometimes when you are aftershocking, you can get stunned, and it can stop you halfway between the aftershock, okay? So try to pop some kind of immunity or breakout trinket. So the breakout trinket is something like this one you can get from the T1 or T2 vendors. What I would do is hit this, and then I would go into my aftershock, so then I can't get interrupted. Okay, so that's how you aftershock your gemstone shield. So now let's have a look at Aftershock Tanking itself. So the first 3 powers you will leave, but everything here you would take out, because for the Aftershock Tanking you don't need a brick. So for Aftershock you need a jackhammer, and then you either you can use your Perfect Poise as a third shield, okay? Then for the last power you can either use your Soothing Sands ability, or you can go ahead and use Unstoppable if you want to spam the supercharge as quick as you can. So there's different ways to play your Aftershock loadout, okay? So many ways you can do this, alright? Totally down to you as an individual. So now let's look at artifacts. So let's say I was using Unstoppable, okay? I wanted to charge my supercharge quick as I can, because this ability is a supercharge generator. Then the artifacts that I would use would be Eye Gemini, Mystic Symbol of 7, and Manacles. But if you did want to make your supercharge spammable more, and you could replace your Mystic Symbol of 7 with the Scrapper Soul Cloak. So then these two would work together to give you the supercharge back and the cooldown of the supercharge because of the Scrapper Soul Cloak, allowing you to hit perfect poise again and again very quickly. So that's one way to do it. But if you're not using the supercharge and then you're using something like this, and then the other ability would be your Amazonian Deflection. So then the loadout would look something like that. So then you still have 3 shields, but remember Amazonian Deflection is it can be block broken. So every time I use it, I would hit my immunity, then I would hit my Amazonian Deflection. Then you can't be block broken for 12 seconds, and that only lasts for round 6. Okay, so then this loadout, I would go ahead and put in my Mystic Symbol 7 with my Everyman prototype. Okay, so there I've shown you 2 different loadouts for brick and Aftershock tanking. So it's totally down to you and your playstyle and how you want to do this. So test out different loadouts. Each loadout has its advantages and disadvantages. With this one, you will have the breakout ability. So technically, you will not even need to use this. You can have a supply drop in this place. Okay, or you can have your crushing consumable, which knocks down nearby enemies, or your chroma emitters, which stuns nearby enemies. Okay, so there's many ways in which you can change your loadout for earth tanking, which is what I love earth for, because you can have different variants of loadouts for different bosses and for different situations, and they all work really well. Okay, so in terms of specking, this specking will be always the same for all the loadouts I've shown you. So now your weapon, you can either use a shield or a rifle, okay, if you want to get the power back, and I would always go hybrid. Okay, now for aftershock loading, because of the jackhammer, you will consume a bit more power compared to the brick tanking, where you will be just summoning your brick if it dies, or using the shields and pulls, and that's about it. So if you do struggle with power, you can go super powered. If you do have a low CR or skill point controller in your raid, okay, or if you do encounter power issues, then I would suggest going super powered. But I would recommend going hybrid because of that 5% dominance and the restoration buff. So for this video, I will be going hybrid for all the loadouts, and then you would go 10 into crit heal magnitude, then 10 into so healing chance 10, healing magnitude 10 as well. Just to unlock the abilities below, then I would go full dom, and then the rest of my skill points I would put into restoration, because if you go to the stats area and go to dominance, so now dominance is combined with restoration to determine the potency, it means the strength of healing and shield abilities. So shield abilities are your shields, okay? So dominance is combined with restoration to make sure that your shields are as strong as possible. So you must go restoration, okay? I can't stress that enough, to make sure that your shields can withstand a lot of damage. Okay, so what's the point of having the shields if you just go full, if you go 117 into health? If your shields go away too quickly and your shields are on cooldown, you can take a lot of damage and probably die. But if you do go restoration, your shields can absorb all that damage, and your shields most likely will stay active, okay, by the time your second shield or your supercharged shield comes off cooldown. So I would recommend going restoration. So then in terms of white sockets, okay, so your head mod have perfect poise, like I showed you. This supercharge gives you shielding abilities and protects you from crowd control and knockdowns nearby enemies. Your weapon will have absorption adapter, of course, and then your neck socket will always have fortified assault. While not blocking, you get that 10% defense. Then your back mod will always have gemstone shield, accelerated version of the back mod. So your reduces the cooldown of gemstone shield by 10%. So you can hit that gemstone shield much quicker than before. And then your chest mod, you can go increases your health by 5%. And also for Aftershock tanking, if you do encounter power problems, like I said, you can use the back mods, the chest mod, which decreases your superpower abilities cost, okay, power cost by 3%, so that should help. Then for the leg socket, you can, I'll just put in epicenter, okay, so your epicenter is your AoE pull, your 360 pull for Earth. It's not a long range, it's like a mid-range pull, okay. And then your hand socket will have your regenerative shielding. Then your feet socket should always have Tumbling Master, because when you roll, it gives you that extra rolling effect, so you can move away from one shots if a boss is trying to kill you. This is a perfect way to dodge abilities or dodge skull attacks, because it sends you really far. There you go. So that's the difference with Tumbling Master. Then in regards to your other abilities, so you can have a personal dampening field consumable, which is an extra shield. Then you can have any of the pets, which give you health, defense, restoration. Then of course your trinket, and then you can either have a consumable which stuns enemies, so like this formula crushing or the chronometers, or you can simply put in a supply drop or an orbital, or even the breakout trinket. So it just depends on what loadout you're using and what boss you are facing. It will determine what you put into these slots here. Okay, so hopefully this video was helpful for some of you guys who will think about going Earth. I've given you a lot of different types of loadouts, and each loadout will have different artifacts based on what you put into your loadouts. Okay, and then before I finish off the video, the bottled city soda is a key thing for tanking or any role. Okay, so as a tank role, as you can see, absorb damage up to 8% of max health. So whatever your health is, 8% of the health, you will absorb up to 8% of the damage. Okay, and very helpful indeed. And it also gives you, at the max rank, which is 8, it will give you that 100% health back. Okay, doesn't matter if your health is 1%, if you drink the soda, your health will go back to 100%. And this works in regards to your power as well. Okay, so that is all for the video. Okay, and for Aftershock tanking, okay, I just want to make one thing clear. You have to Aftershock, so your Aftershock abilities here will be Jackhammer and Gemstone. So this loadout will work as follows. So let's say this tree is a boss. Okay, before you start the fight, what you're gonna have to do is Aftershock your Gemstone, hit your Jackhammer 3 times, and then pull on the boss. Now if you look at me closely, can you see these ice rocks coming out from my from the back? That means my defense buff is active. Now if I stop Aftershocking with my jackhammer, okay, these rocks will fade away from my body. Okay, and I will lose that buff. So now you can see my defense is 76,000. But now if the Aftershock hit my jackhammer 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and now go to my stats tree, you can see my health is like 114,000. Okay, with my defense that high, I receive less damage. And then hit your gemstone. Okay, then hit your jackhammer 3 times again, and keep on doing this during the whole fight. Okay, because if you stop, you will most likely take a lot of damage and probably die. So if you do actually read what it says, okay, so each additional hit increases the duration of stone skin. So every time you hit this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say you hit your shield and a pull. 1, 2, 3. Then do your pull or just pull the adds or whatever. Then 1, 2, 3. Now your shield is gone. Hit jackhammer 1, 2, 3. Then clip it straight into gemstone shield. Then go 1, 2, 3 and use a pull. As you can see, my power bar is now halfway, so it does suck a lot of power. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so that's how you Aftershock Tank. This requires a bit more skill, okay, to pull off. So which is why if you're new to Earth, try out the brick tanking first. Once you get comfortable with your gemstone aftershocking and you're more comfortable with your pulls on Earth, okay, then you can go ahead and go start trying out the Aftershock loadout and start getting more experience in that as well. And most people may ask, what is better? Is brick tanking better or is Aftershock tanking? Now with the brick changes and now that the brick heals, has a heal over time, if you hit 45 golem, I would say they're pretty much even right now. Okay, Aftershock may have its advantages in some raids compared to the brick. So something like PC Elite, the first boss, there's a lot of AoE damage in there. The boss is doing skull attacks, you have the tornadoes, you have the ad spawning all at the same time, then you have the portals which you need to go in and avoid the AoE damage, okay? Sometimes that can be too much for the brick, so in a situation like that I would recommend going Aftershock tanking. But then FB Elite, which is the new Elite raid, I would recommend go brick tanking because the boss will actually use a hand grasp move on you, which will add a heal debuff icon under your name, which then will give you high ticks of damage. If you don't have a good enough healer that can heal you through that damage, your brick will take most of the damage and you will take less damage. So in that situation, I would use brick instead of aftershock tanking. Okay, so as a tank, you must know your raids. You must know your boss mechanics. Whether the boss has adds or not will determine on what types of loadouts you will use and what types of powers you would switch out. So I don't think I've missed anything. If I have, let me know in the comments below, and I will do updated video just covering that part of the video. So just do recap. Hybrid spec or super powered if you're struggling with power with the Aftershock loadout. 10 into healing chance, 10 into magnitude, go full dominance, and then put the rest into restoration to ensure you have the strongest shields in the elite content especially. And then your acrobatics, make sure you get these two. Get the stun resistance, which help you stop you from getting block broken and stops you from getting crowd control. Perfect poise is one of your shields that you can use. Then your weapon, you can either go shield or rifle, totally down to you as an individual. And then in terms of the iconic powers, I would say always get Amazon in deflection, which is another extra shield, then a hard light shield as well. In terms of loadout, I've shown you all the loadouts. This will change, okay, depending on what you're doing. So that is all for the video. Also a shout out to my members. So Shadow, No Name, and GodFlame. Thank you again. Shout out to you three guys. And also this video was made available to the members first, like a week before. So if you do see, and after a week, this will be made public. So this is an in-depth guide on earth tanking. Okay, so if you do see this video and you're new to earth tanking, please watch the hopefully you have understood what I have tried to convey in this video. Okay, if any parts were confusing or you need more info on, please do comment away in the comment section. Okay, and yeah, and I will do my best to answer the questions for you. So that is all for the video. Hopefully this video was not too long. Thank you for watching.